Good afternoon to all of you. It is 10 minutes past 3 o'clock, so I suggest us to start. The second part of today's applicant seminars, and it is going to be dedicated to program objective 7 of the Central Baltic Program 2021 to 2027. Yes, before we start, I just would like to introduce you to some housekeeping rules. And please mute your microphones in case you are not speaking. However, if you would like to speak, you definitely are welcome to. Just please raise your hand and you will be allowed to ask for a question. And you can ask your question in writing as well using chat function, which is available here in the Zoom. For your information, this session is going to be recorded, as it is actually at the moment already. And recording, as well as the presentation of this seminar, will be available in the Central Baltic webpage starting next week. As you may know, there are several applicant seminars taking place this whole week, and we call it a full week with Central Baltic. And last but not least of those program objectives within Central Baltic Program 21-27 is the one we are going to speak today, this afternoon, and it's called Improved Public Services and Solutions for Citizens. Before going to that, I would like to remind you once again about the Central Baltic Program as such, as there might be some of you not participating in other seminars this week. And after introducing this program objective 7, I will shortly say a few words about further planning and applying stages of your projects. So, however, let's have some kind of interactivity here. It would be very relevant to know which country are you joining in. So therefore, I would like to ask you to answer a very simple question. There are going to be some more questions just to know who is in the room. So for our and your notice as well. So please take your time. I hope that the poll is available, yeah, and you are able to vote or give your answer. Let's wait that the majority of those present are answering still. Good. At this point, it seems that most of the participants come from Latvia, which is quite a good surprise for me, as I'm from Latvia myself, as you can maybe guess from my name. So maybe let's finish here, as majority of us has already answered. And still, Kersti, could you share the results as well with? Good, thank you. And as you see, majority are coming from Latvia and Estonia together. I mean, from the other side of the Baltic Sea. And we have some participants from Holland and some from Sweden. Okay, let's move to the second question. We have yet another question, which would be very good to know. And this is to ask you, what kind of organization do you represent? And you can give one answer as well as in this case. So please indicate which organization do you represent.
So I can see that they have already filled in all the questions. So
they have.
Yeah, we have now the results here.
All the results are here.
Mm-hmm.
Aha, that is a nice surprise.
They were so quick. Yes.
Yeah, it seems like that good. And regional or national public institutions are the main participants here with municipalities, which is actually fine, because I think those of you are actually the main potential partners of this program objective. So it is very relevant that you are here. So what about your experience in cross-border projects? Aha. Oh, almost half of you have participated in a Central Baltic project as a project partner, which is good. But I see that some of you are like a newcomers to the cross-border project world. Welcome to you. I do think we will have a lot of useful information for you as well on with what to start to plan your participation in the Central Baltic program. And then the fourth question was, at what project development stage are you currently? And it seems that the most of you, those who answered the question, have no concrete project idea yet. And you are looking for information on possibilities. That is very good. And 3 of you are having a project idea and even have all the partners there, which is very good. And 5 of you are still in the partner search phase. And then there are 9 which are developing the project idea as we speak. Good, thank you. This really gives a lot of useful information for us. So I think we can finish the poll, and I will take the poll results off the screen, or are they on the screen, Kersti?
No, you can close the poll.
I can close the poll. Thank you. So let's then move on with the presentation. And as you remember, I would like to quickly introduce you, or once again mention what small or basic information or general information about the Central Baltic program. So, and this program covers 4 countries. That is Estonia, a full country is covered, Finland, including Åland Islands, but in case of Finland, not all Finland is the part of the Central Baltic program area, but you can see those regions which are part of the Central Baltic program area. The same applies for Sweden and Finland, for Latvia, that not all of the country is like a program area. For Latvia, only Latgale region is not participating in the program area. Yet, what I would like to mention here is that in the Central Baltic program, for sure, we expect partners from the Central Baltic program area, but there might be some cases, but those should be justified if a partner is outside the program area. So in case there are relevant organizations from those countries I mentioned now, yet they are not the program area, so they can join, but what they should do is they should bring in the value for the program area. So this is the main, point to be observed here. And a program as such has 7 program objectives. And within this week, we have covered all of them. 6 in the previous applicant seminars and 1 we are covering now. And you are able to see as well what kind of results are we expecting within these program objectives. Just to remind you that Central Baltic program is a very focused and very result-oriented program, and actually before applying, just please take a look at the program manual and at the slide as well, which is shown here, to see what kind of results do we expect in all of the program objectives. And this is the first and the most important indication on developing your idea, so that it matches the result expected for that particular program objective. Central Baltic program is not a huge one, as you can guess. 180 million euros for ERDF funding for 7 years is not much. However, this is the reason why we tend to be focused and as result-oriented as possible. And speaking about program objective 7, we have dedicated about 11 million euros for this program objective. What you should else keep in mind that there should be at least 2 partners forming a project, and those partners should represent at least 2 participating countries, so to say. Definitely, there might be projects covering all 4 countries and Åland as well, and they are welcome. All of the projects are treated at the equal basis, though. Though what should be stressed as well, that all of the projects should have a clear cross-border added value and joint actions and joint activities and even joint results. And then there are 2 types of projects within the program for this programming period, and those are regular projects and small projects. I will shortly introduce you about the differences between those 2 at the end of the presentation, at the end of the seminar, so you can understand what is the difference between regular project and a small one. We do expect that the partnership is not bigger than 10 partners, and we are not having any associated partners for this program. So in case there are some organizations or institutions, interested in the projects and their results, but are not going to be the partners, One obvious way to include them is ask them to participate, for example, in a steering group to steer the project. What else should be mentioned? That same maximum ERDF rate of 80% applies to all of the countries and definitely all program objectives. There are no differences between countries in this regard, as it was previously. There are some limits to observe as well if you plan a project. For example, those are two. 4 million euros is a maximum budget for the project, and 2 million euros are per partner. So then let's move on and give a bit more details about the program objective 7. And as mentioned already, this program objective is aimed at improving public services and solutions for citizens. And maybe why is this program objective part of the Central Baltic program? You may know that there are a lot of public services we actually use in our everyday life, but they are of different quality and they are definitely not harmonized or synchronized across borders. So, and this is due to several reasons, which might be the challenges or obstacles related to administrative issues. Those might be even some kind of language barriers and so on. Yet, as this is a cross-border program, definitely we would aim of having these cross-border joint services here in the Central Baltic area, so that the life house is coming easier, and as well for those citizens living here. And what should be stressed as well about the program objective 7 is that this program objective actually does not have any limitations in the thematical fields. So actually every thematic field you can imagine is relevant within this program objective. Yet what should be kept in mind here is that, for example, if you apply or are willing to apply for a program or a project, for example, in the field of business support, then definitely it's not possible to apply with the same aim as we have in program objective 1 and 2 of this program. So to say, but I can express this later on if there are still some questions regarding this. There are actually two possible, directions in which to think when we speak about program objective 7. And this is as well related to those regular and small projects. Usually, we would like to achieve that the joint cross-border public services are created within this public service, within this program objective, or are upscaled. So say, those existing public services may be upscaled as well, or they might be digitalized, so that in this as well environment we live nowadays, more and more services are possible to obtain, like online or using other potential means of digital solutions. What else should be included here and is included here? It is the participatory process, for example. It is not yet common. It is common though, but it's not yet standard that all the services are developed involving the society, the citizens or the businesses which are using these services. So, but to have them as much relevant for the use of citizens, the citizens or other parties may be involved in the designing phase of the service, and we aim to fund these kind of activities as well. Though there is one field which is excluded, and this is the joint curricula development for educational systems. So as part of program objective 7, it is not possible to develop joint curriculums for educational systems. So let us continue with maybe a bit more specific information. So as already mentioned, there are 2 dimensions you can actually look for and within the program objective 7. If we speak about results we expect. So there are 2 results and we expect, and these are either joint or digitalized public services within mostly regular projects, and then might be some kind of practical solutions and improvements to public services within those small projects. What else should be stressed here? That there are several indicators as well. Each of the projects are expected to comply with, and there are those output indicators and result indicators, and I will introduce them a bit later in more detail. But speaking about target group, as I already mentioned, those are mostly the citizens or the people benefiting from these improved services or solutions which are provided by public institutions or public sector on all levels. And when I mention all levels, I mean those local, regional, or national level public sector organizations, which may include as well non-governmental institutions, public companies, and universities as well. Though it depends on the aim of the project and definitely the result you are planning to achieve, the composition therefore is not limited to those of you. So, and if we speak about the result indicators, this is as well good to know, because this is the primary source of indication whether that you are planning is relevant for Central Baltic program. And this result indicator, the name is solutions taken up or upscaled by organizations. So those are those solutions which are upscaled within the project. So, and this might be 2 possible components, as I already mentioned. Those with regular projects are expected to create joint cross-border public services or to digitalize existing ones. But those small projects where experience exchange and learning from each other is part of the activities as well, may and are expected that they bring an improvement to the public service or practice within the institution, a practice which is leading to improvement of public service. might sound a bit complicated, but it is actually not that, because these result indicators are then coming from the output indicators, and the output indicator is the measuring the outcome or the output of your project. And these are those jointly developed solutions we are looking here. And with the solution, I mean those are the public services you create within the project, or those are those improvements in your everyday practice which lead to improvement of the public service. Then there are two more indicators we aim to look for, and those are the organizations cooperating across borders, or the project partners, and the number of organizations and cooperating within the projects. They are very similar. There are some minor how to say, they are a bit different ones. So if we speak about what kind of activities may form a project in Program Objective 7, and there are a bunch of activities which are relevant for Program Objective 7, and those include awareness raising, for example, trainings, studies, elaborating plans and designs, and those participatory process development activities, and definitely as well activities as where you create those public services. And we expect that each of the projects selects those activities which are relevant, and the list is not comprehensive here. These are just some of the potential activities of your projects. You should use a suitable mix of these actions to bring a project together. Though what is expected that those actions lead to achieving of the relevant indicator. So in this case, those joint cross-border public services or improvements to existing practices leading to improved public services. Just for your information, we tried to give you some kind of potential ideas what kind of projects might be there, and in what fields, and what kind of potential results they can bring. And I can share with you this information, and this information is now on the screen. I will not, speak a lot here. There just notice that there might be different kind of projects for different kind of organizations. For example, the municipalities can have both small projects and regular projects, and each of the projects are expected to lead to those results. But these are just tentative examples and not exhausting, not comprehensive. You can have any other potential projects as well here. So as I already mentioned, that those project ideas might be leading to joint cross-border services, or to synchronization or digitalization of existing public services. And I speak of any kind of public services here. And just to give a small comparison, what is the difference between small project and regular project? A small project is defined both by the budget and the timing of the project. So the total maximum budget of a small project should not exceed 213,550 euros in total. As for regular projects, they start from this amount and are in total up to 4 million euros. If a small project as well may last until 18 months maximum, then a regular project usually lasts 2 to 3 years. Though this is not as well, how to say, mandatory that they run that time period, but these are average time, and typically projects last this amount of time. There are as well some differences between the application reporting process between those projects. For example, small projects may benefit from a bit lighter approach when applying, shorter selection phase, and shorter reporting forms. However, as we speak about those regular projects, this two-step approach applies, and this means that in the first step, project does not fill the whole application form. So to say, the budget and the work plan might not be very detailedly explained at the first step application stage. What else should be mentioned here are the simplified cost options, which are to be widely used in all kinds of projects, and especially if the project does not exceed 200,000 euros, then it should be stressed that these kind of projects should use only simplified cost options. So no real costs for those projects may be reported. Although these small projects are relevant for all program objectives, but we see that they are especially relevant for program objective 7. Therefore, more information is given here at this stage. So, but I do see that there is a question in a chat. Maybe we can go to that one. Laura, may I ask you to help me with this?
Yes, so there's one question in the chat, and it's a question about whether training and networking, a joint study course for higher education, could it be possible in this program so the future professionals can better serve citizens?
So if I do understand correctly the question, so then I should answer that joint curricular development in educational systems is not relevant within the program.
More about implementation, I understand. So joint study courses for higher education.
So I think this should be maybe then explained a bit more. As to this point, I don't think it forms any kind of public service here. But so maybe Arya, who has asked this question, can detail a bit what do you exactly mean here?
Well, this is Arya, but my voice is very bad because of the big flu. Can you hear?
Yes, I do hear you.
Yeah.
Could you just explain a bit more?
Yes.
What do you?
Yes, we have partners in the area, and we have planned to have joint courses, because it's a problem is in the area and in the cities that cross-sectoral work for promoting health and well-being, for example, it's not competence at the moment. It's not known, and professionals are not aware, and it's not in the practice, although it is in the policies and principles in the area, and the practice should be doing it more. And that's why we have been thinking to have joint education courses in connection with people from practice for students, for public health and health promotion and well-being and so on, and maybe more cross-sectoral, even cross-sectoral fields of education. So that is why I asked this: is it possible by this funding? But
Yeah.
now you say that maybe not.
Yeah, thank you for explaining, and thank you for the question. So to say, to me, this somehow does not seem relevant at this point, as I mean, the study courses are not understood as a public service for citizens. This is something else. This is an educational system, and as I already mentioned, that this is not part of the program objective here.
Yes, although it's digital.
Yes,
Yeah,
even
okay.
if it's digital. I mean, if still this is a study course, I mean, this is not a service for a citizen.
But it enables the better service. But
okay, maybe then what I could suggest to you is I will as well introduce shortly to fill in the program of this project idea form, and to send this in. So, and maybe then I continue with the presentation, and then I will explain what you should do to do that. So maybe once again, going back to what has been said about this, what do you need to think when planning a project? First is look at the result and output indicators. So in this case, it is very easy to understand whether your project will contribute or will not contribute to the program objective. And once again, to repeat, within program objective 7, a result indicator is solutions taken up or upscaled, and those arrive from the output indicator jointly developed cross-border services and solutions. And I was already mentioning that in this program objective, those two types of results are relevant, and one is this creation of a joint cross-border public service, or a digitalization of existing public service. And then there is a second part for smaller projects, for example, those when project partners want to learn from each other. And those might be some smaller results, and those smaller results are like those improvements in practice or some kind of solutions, which are part of the public service delivery. So, and as a result of this improvement as well, the public service is improved. So, and this should take in all partners participating. So the improvements and the digitalization should take part in all project partners. I think I did not say that before. And there should be right partners. And speaking about the right partners, and there are several ways on how to detect whether a partner is the right or the relevant partner. So first of all, as I mentioned already, all levels of public institutions and in a wider meaning of public institutions are those right partners from local, regional or national level, as well as like NGOs or public companies and universities. But what should be stressed here, they should have this statutory right to act in this field, a mandate to act in this field, to deliver public service in this field. This determines whether it is relevant or the right partner in that sense. And as well, those partners should be those which may directly involve the target group, so the citizens, the users of the service. So usually it means that the service is provided by the partners themselves, not from somebody else. So in this is understood that you can reach the partner group, the target group. What else should be mentioned here before planning and applying? Please consider the durability of the project results. So, and the use of the results. It should be ensured that the project results are to be used by the citizens and that they not stop when the project stops. I mean, the service is not stopping. So I see there is one question in the chat. There is no question. That's just thank you. Are there any other questions at this point you would like to ask or to clarify about this program objective? No questions. So let's assume that everything is either crystal clear or totally not clear. So although there is one hand raised, so Kaija, may I ask you to?
Yes, okay, sorry, I was a bit late. I come back to this training question Arja asked about. So is that okay that in this project we are training those administrative and public servants who are responsibility for the public services, that they are also focus group in the project? And behind there is that we are developing digitalization, and we are developing also sustainability for services through cooperation across sectors. But there you really need training, education for public, for those who are responsible for public services. So is that okay to have that kind of training? Because I noticed that there cannot be any development of training courses in the educational institutions, but now we speak about training for those people who are working with these services and need some education there. Did you get that?
I hope so. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Yes, thank you, Kaija. Maybe I answer you going back to the result indicators we expect in this program objective. And I think that may give you an answer as you remember, we expect either a joint cross-border services created or digitalized or scaled up, or there is some kind of smaller initiatives taking place and introduced in the everyday practice, leading to those improvements. Trainings might be part of all of those projects, but training as such, in my opinion, is not really a public service here. So in this sense, I would rather say that it is not relevant still to train the servants, because yeah, although it is very interesting though. Maybe again, just maybe you can fill this project idea form and send it in, but though still I don't think that this is the projects we are aiming here, like some of those kind of training. As well, remember that the project should be cross-border. So and those activities should be joined. Yeah. Thanks. So maybe, there is one hand raised. Okay, Nico, please.
Okay, just one quick question. I was just wondering, since I'm new with this instrument, how many projects you are typically planning to fund from this instrument, because 11 million is not much. So what's the probability roughly to get the funding if we leave the application and the content is right?
If the content is right, then the probability is even even higher, I would say.
Okay, it was not a right question, but typically what is the percentage of this application that will pass this test?
So as there are no straight limits set on the number of how many projects there might be financed under this program objective. So it depends on the quality of the project actually here. So and the relevance of the project and the results the project will bring in. So for that reason, there is going to be an assessment phase where all of those aspects will be assessed, and a score will be given. And if a project passes a threshold for a score, then I think there are some, how to say, it's quite, the potential is very high if you pass the threshold. So, but yes, that would be my answer to you at this point. Yes, Marika, would you like?
I could just bring some examples from the past, although I totally agree that, I mean, we have absolutely no idea. So because it depends on the number of applications and the ratio of the applications and the good applications and the money available and the size of the projects. But I think in the previous period, we had quite many applications and quite a high threshold for getting financed. So I think it depended, or it varied from maybe the success rate from 25 to 50 in different calls and different objectives. But even there, you see there was quite a wide range. So at this moment, and with this new program objective, it is really anybody's guess how many applications we get and how good they are. But I think Normunds very well started the reply with saying that relevant ideas stand a good chance. So do take the possibility to have these consultations and fill in your project idea forms and really go through these discussions with our team.
Yep, thank you. So maybe I then continue as well with what is expected then further. So, and if you are interested in applying for a project, then please use the opportunity to consult the Joint Secretariat or the national contact points. There is a national contact point in every member state and Åland Islands available, and those contacts are available at the Central Baltic webpage. So, and there's a project idea form you can fill in and send to the program and project managers in the Joint Secretariat. And this is actually strongly advised to do so. That would help both you and you as potential applicants and us as potential assessors of those applicants to understand what kind of project are you going to apply, and to help you with guiding you actually to the, so that your project might be as relevant as possible. What should be mentioned here as well is that the first call is going to open on the 2nd of February and is going to stay open until the 31st of March next year. And decisions on those selected projects for the small projects might be the June of next year. It depends though of one very important decision, and this is a decision from the European Commission, which should adopt the program. And in case there might be some slight changes, we don't in those further dates. So therefore, I can only provide with the indicative deadlines for further activities, starting for the second step submission for the regular projects, which might be the 3rd quarter of next year. And the 3rd quarter of next year actually might be as well the timing when the small projects already could start their implementation. As for regular projects, it might be the 1st quarter of the 2023 even. And this is the project idea form I was referring to. And this project idea form is to be found on Central Baltic webpage. And after this presentation is going to be available publicly on the webpage, you will just click on this picture and the project idea form will download then. So maybe there are some things to remember as well before you start to prepare your project idea. So focus your activities, be as more specific as possible. As well, focus your goals, have a clear result which you aim for. And I suggest you not to try to cover too much within one project. And remember that focus on services and solutions for citizens is the primary aim of this program objective. As well, aim for achieving a change within your project, bringing some added value of that service you are thinking of or creating or scaling up. And please remember about the cross-border relevance and the joint solution and joint solutions. So creating a solution in one member state will not count as a joint solution, even the partners are from more than one member state. So with the joint, we understand that the service is available in those member states or partner member states forming a project. There is one very relevant document you actually may consult as well, even before you consult us. This is a guide for applying for a project, which is as well available at the Central Baltic webpage for you to download. And you will be able to download it directly from this presentation after the presentation will be published. This guide actually has all the information needed about all the program objectives, about all the steps you should take, about how to fill the project application itself as well. Although we will have some possibilities to speak about this in more detail tomorrow when our applicant seminars will continue, though reading the guide is very good thing to do if you are interested to apply. So you can get in touch with us, either me or other colleagues responsible for other program objectives of this program. And just to remember that there are 7 objectives in total. And the contact names are on the screen, and they are to be found as well in the web page of the Central Baltic program in the contact section. But maybe let's go back to the questions, as I do see that there are more questions in the chat. Or there are no questions. Let us just.
Norman, there is a question, and it's about the small projects. And the question is if this program objective is more focused on funding small projects, and maybe there's some percentage of small projects to be funded.
Thank you for the question. No and yes. No and yes is the answer to your question. It is not expected that only small projects may apply within this program objective. However, we do see that this program objective is the most relevant for small projects to apply for. Yet there is no percentage as well defined, and it depends on what kind of projects do you actually will submit in the application phase. Yeah.
No more questions in the chat at the moment. Oh, one more, possibly? No, it was a thank you.
Yeah, so thank you as well for the questions. And before we finish, please have a time for a small feedback about the event, which you can have clicking on the link in the chat. Yes, and while you are giving the feedback, let me remind you that there is going to be one more session of applicant seminars tomorrow. And this session tomorrow is going to focus on how to develop an application. It is going through those practical aspects of partnership and developing a work plan, drafting a budget, and we will mention what kind of attachments do you need when you apply. With attachments, I mean the documents you should submit as well, not only the application form itself. And we will have a small session on tips for the applicants. So I hope to see all of you tomorrow as well. And please give your feedback as well. And yes, it is a Finnish time, Finnish, Estonian, and Latvian time. So 1 hour ahead, or I suppose or behind in Sweden. So see you tomorrow then, and thank you for having participating here in the seminar, and see you next time.